And welcome back again for another awesome part of the docu-series. We are now on Akane, and we are moving through these, I would say quickly, but let's be real. My upload schedule is pretty all over the place, and I apologize about that. All right, so we've got the Orenji Akane documentary series. Let's go.
Making you gay.
What the hell is this?
Bartender.
That was way too loud. Sorry about that. All right. Who is the next one? Let's see here. Oh. What? She was the one. Wait. She's also a DJ? Really?
Oh, she's not bartending,
Okay,
she's
then.
DJing.
Let's talk about Akane. Akane was born on December 14th in Hyogo, a prefecture very close to Osaka. She
Okay.
lived with her mother, her stepfather, and for a short period of time with her stepbrother, who is 11 years older. During her youngest years, Akane was very unsociable and the one to do whatever she wanted, like leaving kindergarten to go home or not participating in games and activities with the other kids. She was, as she likes to say while laughing, a real problem child. Note that in Japan, children go to school and come back home on their own very early, sometimes at 3 or 4. Over the years, she became more and more friendly and discovered that talking to other people wasn't that bad after all.
Aw.
During her school years, she loved home economics and art, but hated studying. She was also bad at physical activities. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Being a huge fan of manga, Akane was easily influenced by The Prince of Tennis or Slam Dunk to try different sports, but soon realized that her motivation was gone pretty quickly. She's the kind of person who...
Okay, let's go back a little bit. I'm just now getting. I've been in anime for a long time. Starting with like Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT was bullshit. But yeah, I'm a big fan of manga and anime, and I like that she was using those outlets as a way to try and coax her into doing more things, even though that sports wasn't necessarily one of them. And I like the name of the second show that he mentioned.
Influenced by The Prince of Tennis or Slam Dunk to try different sports, but soon realized that her motivation was gone pretty quickly. She's the kind of person who wants to try everything that could interest her, but nothing lasted very long, except one thing. And this is something that we've seen in Saiki and Konami's childhood. Akane has loved music since she was very little. For her, it started with piano in kindergarten
That's a
and
sick
lasted a few
outfit.
years before she stopped because the joy wasn't there anymore.
Aw.
Although she can still play some songs on the piano, even today. She continued for 5 years with trombone.
Oh, look at the little
but
maids.
it wasn't something she saw herself pursuing. At the end of her trombonist career, she realized that a lot of her friends joined bands. So she went to a
Trombonist
lot of
career.
live performances and music festivals with them. That's how the idea of being in a band started
Oh.
to grow.
Hold up.
A
Hold
lot
up.
of her friends joined bands. So she went to a lot of live performances and music festivals with them. That's how the idea...
Saiki, Miku, Akane, Misa, Konami. Hey, mates.
idea of being
Miku has a sick shirt on, too. I want that shirt.
in a band started to grow in Akane's head. So she joined the K-On! Club to form a band. To
Oh,
get an
wow.
idea of what it was like, you can watch the anime K-On! Akane started with the guitar.
I need to make a list of these 3 anime so far. The tennis one, which I've already forgot the first name, obviously Slam Dunk, and then the one that I just forgot the name of again. That's a great, amazing shot.
but soon realized that her hands were too small to play, and it was impossible for her to continue. The bass was off the table too, as you can imagine, and she's no singer, at least according to her, so what's left? Yes, drums.
Oh, yeah.
And once Akane tried a drum kit, she felt that that was it.
Those doubles are sick. There's a lot
While
of
learning
gallop.
drums.
I want to take that back a second. There's a lot of gallop in there. Gallop is like what you would imagine the horse with the but it's like you hit your two legs on the kick pedal, not at the same time, but just off from each other. So it's like that sound you would hear a horse, a gallop. In case you've ever heard that term, that's what that is for as far as drumming, for feet.
While learning drums, she started to listen to rock bands like El Garden and Bump of Chicken to end up making covers of their songs. She also learned
We should check
about
out
the
them too.
band Maximum the Hormone.
Oh my God,
and their
yes.
female drummer, Now. Akane was stunned to discover that the drummer of this hard rockin' band was not a man. This was the kind of drummer she wanted to become, so she kept
Hey, shout out MTH. Maximum the Hormone is sick. And I honestly forgot that they also had a female drummer until this moment right now.
this picture of a strong female drummer in her mind as a role model.
Oh, yeah.
It was and still is important to Akane to have an impact on anyone who thinks that a female drummer can only play soft and not hard. With this image in mind, she practiced every week at her school, the only place that had a drum kit available, as she didn't own one.
Okay.
The other problem was that she was alone in her club, so she could only practice by herself.
Oh,
By the end of her second year, she wanted to do a graduation live performance, so she gathered some of her friends from her old symphonic band days and performed a copy of the group Pez, a Japanese instrumental band consisting of a trumpet, a saxophone, a double bass, a keyboard vocalist, and of course, drums. You might be surprised to learn that Akane wanted to work as a hairdresser after graduation. But as she
Gorgeous.
started drums and was 100% committed to improve her playing skills, she completely changed her mind
Oh, yeah.
and instead wanted to enroll in a music school. Against the will of her teacher, but with the support of her parents, Akane went to the Tokyo School of Music for 2 years to follow her passion. She was surrounded by talented musicians who wanted to become professional. Even though she was just a beginner in her class, she worked very hard and played every day to catch up with the other students.
hey, that's what it takes. It takes a lot of reps, and that's with everything in life. If you want to get good at something, it takes a trial process of being bad for a while. And as much as unappealing as that is, it kind of deters people away from doing things. I heard a term or a phrase earlier this week, as a matter of fact, and it said, someone said, everything's easy until you have to do it. And then that's whenever you start to see the actual work involved. I'm glad to know that she was able to get as much work as she possibly could done in an event, in a progressive way. It just was kind of sad that she was in a group all by herself. But she found the mates, and that's what's important.
It was during those years that she joined a band who did a combined live show with another band featuring the one and only Konami. She immediately acknowledged how good Konami was with the guitar and wanted to know more about her. It turned out that they lived very close from each other,
Oh,
so
nice.
they quickly became friends. Konami used to ask Akane to play drums on her demos before sending them to record companies.
Nice.
Unfortunately, Akane's band didn't stay together very long, and she was back to square one. But Akane was resourceful, so she started a part-time job as a waitress in a music restaurant in Yokohama. She could watch live performances and sometimes have a sit behind the kit to play when the restaurant closed for the day. She told the manager that she plays drums, so he asked if she could play right now. And she did.
Oh,
Akane played Highway Star from Deep Purple,
nice.
and the manager agreed to let her play. He even offered to train her. From that moment, Akane trained every day to improve her skills and become a better drummer. We are now in 2013, and BAND MAID is actively looking for 3 female musicians to join a rock band while wearing maid outfits. I say 3 because at this time, they weren't searching for a lead vocalist yet. Our little pigeon already recruited Konami, so the band was looking for a drummer and a bassist. As you can imagine, Konami talked to Akane about this opportunity. She trusted her with her demos, so why shouldn't she? At first, Konami mentioned the label and Akane was excited, until Konami revealed that they are recruiting for an all-girls band. In case you wonder, she hadn't even mentioned the part where they would all have to be dressed in maid outfits.
Yeah.
Akane had too many bad experiences from all-girl bands, so she wasn't really thrilled about this idea. But the restaurant she was working at was about to close for good, so she took some time to think about it and finally decided to join Konami.
Nice.
What about the maid outfit, you would ask? Well, she was reluctant at first, but how do you know that it's bad without even trying? After all, if Konami is already there, it'll be okay, right?
Yeah.
So she was willing to give it a...
That's a good point. That's a good point. It's great that she had Konami in the beginning so that she was able to have that person to latch onto and be like, listen, at the very end of it, if at the very least, I've got you here, we're here together, and that's fun, that's cool. So at least we're going to be able to do that. I'm glad that she took the time and thought long and hard about joining and didn't let past experiences influence a new experience. So that's cool. Good job.
Try anyway. Konami sent her some demos, and Akane found the music really cool right away. And the image of an all-girls band dressed like maids playing this kind of music was really interesting for her. She felt that her reluctance against all-girl bands and maid outfits was fading away as her motivation kept growing. Just a few months later, a 5-members acoustic band was created under the name Mochi to Cheese. What's the link with Akane, you could ask? Well, Akane and Konami were both part of this side band with 3 members from the band Predia, an idol group formed in 2010 under the same agency as BAND MAID, Platinum Passport. They started to perform in the streets with acoustic covers and even performed
that
live
was such a cute
times.
little shot
In
there.
2010, under the same agency as BAND MAID, Platinum Passport. They started to...
And they're both on the outsides. Isn't that crazy? That's crazy. We've got Konami on the right, Akane on the left. That's awesome.
perform in the streets with acoustic covers and even performed live a few times over the 2 years of activity. The band also covered Forward, a song from BAND MAID. The single was released in September 2015, but only 2 months later, they sent their last tweet and posted their last entry in their blog. After that, we did not hear from Mochi to Cheese again. Their YouTube channel is still available, so you can at least watch a fraction of their performances.
Oh, well, there you go. I'm a sucker for the chimes. Oh, that's nice. I like it, the chimes.
モスチーズでした。バイバイ。
Bye-bye.
Let's get back to BAND MAID. With all those years of practice, Akane had a solid base of drumming to bring to the band, but she didn't have a lot of practice with the twin pedals on high-paced songs. She did buy one when she was in high school.
Takes some
but
work.
She gave up pretty quickly, only to come back on it later and work as much as she could to try and master it.
I'll tell you what, that progress, that work shows, because there's a lot of bandmate songs that I do get the chance to play on drums in my own time when I have the time. And the feat, her double kick licks are not easy. They are difficult. So I'm glad that she didn't, let that deter her from learning more.
With Band Maid, Akane had to use twin pedals for the first time with Thrill. A painful first experience for her, but the feedback was incredible, so the band members wanted to add more twin pedals in the next songs over the years. This is something that Akane wanted to do as well, but remember that from 2016, the songs are written by Konami, and Konami loves fast-paced rhythm.
速いのは一番速い BPM。
I
Oh,
think it's
Herman Lee.
225.
225
おう
惜しい
ちには225ない
ない
ね。
200
じゃあ次225を目指します。
Usually, Konami songs are based at about 170 beats per minute, but Akane struggled to play the twin pedals over 130 beats per minute because of her lack of solid practice on twin pedaling. But she wouldn't be defeated that easily. Band Maid is a hard rock band. They needed to be hard.
I love the effort and the work that went into getting all of the tempos of each of the songs and comparing them. And I like the fact that Konami is basically has been training Akane this entire time for this progression. That's very cool.
On their music, and Akane had to be able to play faster. So what do you think she did? She thought about how she moves her legs and found ways to improve her movements to be able to play faster. And what's the best way to do it? Practice, practice, practice.
Yep.
Muscle memory. Akane tried to move her legs every time and everywhere she could, as if she was...
She's actually using the perfect technique for
Practice.
it too. That's all, you're not using your leg. I am guilty of this currently. I need to work on this, practice myself from this fundamental, and work on technique, because you can see the way that she is just using her ankle to push down on what's called heel up, where your heel is up off the ground. You could see, not in this shot directly, obviously, in this freeze frame moment, but she's using all ankle, and that is all the front part of your leg muscle. So that takes a ton to build up. And then once you build it up, and then you can practice certain metronome tempos, and then just build. But yeah, the front parts of her legs are probably, or were probably, burning throughout this entire process. But just watch the way that her foot moves. You can tell that it's literally coming from the ankle instead of coming from the joint or from your actual leg.
Practice, practice.
See that?
Muscle memory. Akane tried to move her legs every time and everywhere she could, as if she was playing the twin pedals, so her legs remembered those movements. She was also pushed by Konami, who kept including a lot of twin pedals in her songs. A challenge that Akane couldn't refuse to face, as she is not the type to admit that she can't keep up with a song. After a lot of work and thinking about her playstyle, Akane is now able to use twin pedals anytime, in any song.
Oh, the 16th note double kick.
Did you know that Band Maid performed with a man once? No? Do you want to know more about this story? Of course you do. It was in 2015, on December 4th to be exact, at the Shinjuku club Science, that Akane was replaced by a male drummer for a performance. Why, you might ask? Akane mentioned in an interview around that time that she just had an injury and she needed time to rest and heal. Don't worry, It wasn't a life or death situation, as Akane came to this performance disguised as a staff member to support her bandmates. She tweeted 2 months later with a photo of her holding a lot of drumsticks with messages.
2 months ago, after taking some time off from drumming due to an injury, I received a lot of sticks with a warm message from my overseas fans. Your words have encouraged me so much, and I've worked so hard. Thank you so much. Oh my God, that's so sweet.
Written from fans from all over the world. Band Maid has the best community of fans. Am I right? Now, I'm sure that many of you maniacs know that Akane likes to eat. A lot. She can eat 120 bowls of soba when on average, a man eats 70 bowls and a woman 50.
Wow.
Or even 30 plates at a kaiten sushi, a restaurant where plates of sushi are placed on a conveyor belt that winds through the restaurant and moves past every table, counter, and seat. And believe me when I tell
That
you
is awesome.
that 30
Oh my goodness, that is awesome. I want
where
that.
plates of sushi are placed on a conveyor belt that winds through the restaurant and moves past every table, counter, and seat. And believe me when I tell you that 30 is a lot. She loves eating food so much that you can see her eating in a lot of the music videos over the years.
Wow.
I'll bet she really enjoyed filming those.
I'll have to keep an eye out for that.
Akane was invited for a few episodes of Band Maid Nippon, and they played a game where Miku and Saiki had to guess her favorite food outside of Japan.
ご飯
ご飯
え、なに米ってこと？
ご飯
米？
ピザ
どういうこと主食の
主食っていうのかな
メインのもの。
メインの
なん
こってりじゃないでしょきっと。
こってりじゃないね
パエリア
パエリアです
ねえ勘で言ったら当たった
そうなの
At the creation of Band Maid, Akane was designated as the leader as she appeared to be the most responsible. But now, every member has a different role equally important, and having a leader was just not relevant anymore. Akane is also famously known for goofing around every chance she gets.
That's pretty good.
Even during live performances. And she's not the only one, as the other band members try to make her laugh by pulling faces. Sometimes, it gives us some very special moments to watch. And sometimes, it just works too
That's
well.
so damn cute.
Band Maid is really putting on a show when it comes to live performances, because these 5 hard rockin' maids are really enjoying themselves, don't you think?
Yeah, you can tell.
All right, it's time to talk about Akane's drum style. But let's keep it simple, shall we? And as I didn't become a musician since our last...
If I'm going to describe it before it gets described in this, I'm going to describe it as wild, yet controlled, calculated, precise, playful, fun. You know, those words. That's how I would personally describe it. The way that she's able to express fun from her drum set.
last video on Konami, I will let today's special guests talk to you about this very interesting subject.
Oh, who do we
I
got
don't know
today?
about you, but I can't wait to hear what they have to say about Akane. Let's go.
Band Maid is a group of individuals that are just such heavy hitters on their instruments. When they come together, the overall sound of the ensemble is amazing. The rhythms, the harmonies, the quality of the vocals, the songwriting, the skill sets of how everything is woven together is a very amazing listening experience. I've only seen the videos, But from moment one, it had me hooked. Now, Akane's drumming is when you see someone that is so fluid and relaxed and they're playing at such a high velocity and the demand is so great, the level of respect is top. It is top for me. So she has a way of laying back in the groove and just flowing so well. But a lot of the times these tempos are burning, like they're going fast, but she has this thing where it's like effortless mastery. She lays back. There's all these augmentations and interactions within the orchestration of the song with everybody else. Like there's always these complicated things happening. But when you watch her play, the legato, like it's smooth. It's like you don't really notice how difficult everything is. And for me, that's the major selling point, because anytime something seems like smooth and easy, it's not. It's because the person is so good. They've put in so many thousands of hours on their instrument, and their ability to have all that ensemble listening go on allows them to be that effortless mastery that I just brought up. I will never get tired of watching Akane play. I mean, to be just completely honest, it's inspirational and it just makes me want to be a better musician.
Akane is a very impressive
Agreed.
musician. For many reasons, one of them is her constant evolving. It's almost a rule among musicians to get to a certain level and then stop because that's good enough. But there's no such thing as good enough for Akane. She's constantly getting better, not only in her...
First of all, Grogu, I want that shirt. And this nice, like, artistic silhouette-esque type picture of Akane in the background. And Grogu wearing a Miku shirt. Top notch. Top notch. I need some BAND MAID merch. Bad.
Skills as a player, but also as a writer. There's not a single dull moment in her writing. There's always something different and interesting and creative happening. Her creativity has no limits. She almost never repeats herself. That thing where the second verse is completely different from the first, but you can still tell it's the same thing. It represents the same thing. That's very impressive writing. Akane is a drummer's drummer, but she's also everybody's drummer. What I mean by that is, to someone who's not familiar with the...
She is a drummer's drummer, but she is also everyone's drummer. That is such a fudging great way to say that.
Drums, she sounds very impressive, she is, but it's not impenetrable, it's not tedious or self-serving. She's always serving the music, you can always groove to it. But when you do know what she's doing, your mind goes blank for a second, because she can write these incredibly intricate parts that are also beautiful. Recent example of that is in Influencer, the transition that goes from first chorus to the second verse, and that part afterwards with the cross sticks and everything. I think they call it the A melody. There's so much happening there. It's so fast, it's so different. And not different from the first verse, different from everything I ever heard from her. There's more music in those, 15 seconds than in 99.99% of all music ever recorded. And you can still dance to it. Then you see her playing live. Doesn't even look like she's doing anything that hard. She doesn't call attention to herself. She just smiles and plays the impossible. She hits very, very, very hard with so little effort. She's so fast. She's so precise. But she's also expressive. There's feeling in her playing. And that's what music is, or should be, is taking your instrument and amplifying your emotions to touch people's hearts. Akane does that.
Man, this guy speaks great.
Incredible speed and precision. But she's also putting herself, her feelings into her music. She's joy, she's happiness, fun to be around. She jokes around, she says random things. And her playing is also like that. Her drumming, her music is joyous, is happy, is pleasurable and surprising, and connects the songs. And she's constantly getting better at it. And that's very impressive.
Where do I even begin?
Hey, Potter again.
Oh, I've tried covering her drums so many times. Never really got them right because they're so complex. She's definitely the hardest drummer I've ever tried to cover. The skills required alone are insane, but it's not only the skill, it also requires an insane amount of memory skills because she's constantly changing up her drum patterns, keeping things fresh. It never gets stagnant, but it's so hard to remember all the different little changes she makes. And somehow she's still able to smile through all of it while she's playing. She plays with so much power, so much energy, and perfectly complements all the other instruments around her. You can tell from what she's playing that she listens to her fellow bandmates and does what she can to accentuate their parts instead of just playing underneath them or playing over them. She gives the song exactly what it needs. Such a well-rounded drummer. Okay, I'll shut up now.
Once again, I've been telling you the story of someone who has been in love with music since forever and tried many instruments until she found the one that was perfect for her: drums. Even though she was alone in her club during high school, without a drum kit to practice on at home, Akane did her best to learn the basics by herself and was able to join a music school and pursue her goal of becoming a professional musician. From a child who wanted to try everything but couldn't find the motivation to keep at it, to a truly passionate musician, Akane kept doing her best to live for and from music. Working at a music restaurant to end up playing drums there, joining Band Maid with Konami and within this already incredible band, learning and evolving towards this image of a strong hard rock female drummer she always wanted to be associated with. Akane wanted to prove that gender has nothing to do with her drumming and how hard Band Maid's music is, and we can all agree that she does this every time she hits her drums.
Oh, yeah.
No matter how difficult it was, no matter how many obstacles she faced, Akane destroyed everything in her way so she could achieve what makes her special as a person and a drummer.
Stay with me, you carry like that moment. I never change, that love is beautiful.
Wow. Man. Casper Michaels. ONG. Dude, these videos are absolutely amazing. Yes, all the props to all the credits. Everyone who worked on this video. Absolutely go do these things that are on the screen. Fantastic, man. Oh, where do I begin? I mean, blown away by the amount of information that I get to learn each time I dive into one of these. Akane's influences are gonna really help me learn more about maybe my own musical path and my own musical journey, because there's a lot of music that I've heard through Band Maid, through their influences, that I had never heard before, and it is some very interesting and intriguing music, and that's kind of what I'm searching for these days, is interesting notes and impactful moments that really take me over. And this documentary was really another chapter in getting closer to that. Huge shout out to ONG, huge shout out to Casper Michaels for reaching out to me. I'll put that message on the screen. I have decided that the next song that I'm going to do is actually what Band Maid actually had decided. We're going to do Endless Story. I was unable to get there for the live premiere. I think it was 7:30 a.m. Eastern, and I had just worked a 13-hour day the day before, and it just got to bed around 2 a.m. my time Eastern. So it was just not in the cards for us that day, as much as I really wanted it to be. So the next video is going to be Endless Story. After that, I have something particularly special, kind of a two-part deal, one of which is going to be the cover that I'm going to do. Still not sure if I should reveal that yet. The second video is going to be a sponsor video, actually. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you guys. If you haven't done so already, again, you've made it this far into the video, I think you kind of have to. If you wouldn't mind hitting that like and subscribe, maybe hit the notification bell so you get a notification every time that I upload a new video. Yeah, we can continue this journey on together and learn more about our maids. The next part of the documentary series that I will be doing is going to be Misa. And then after that, it's going to be the 3-parter of the Miku, the Little Pigeon, Kobuto. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much. Be on the lookout for Endless Story live next video. Pow!